Quickly, before we get to our first speaker tonight, I want to remind you we have some autographed footballs that we're going to have later on this evening that some of our speakers tonight are autographing. I get to do my best. Can I say Jay Cutler? I don't know, that's a little sore, isn't it? That's a little tough. I'm sorry. Keep hope alive. Oh, wait. I would be tossing them out to you later on this evening, so stick around for that. And, oh, is this that? Yes, let's see. We got all kinds of great autographs here. Haley Barbour, Bill Brady, Bob McDonald, Bobby Jindal. I think I'm going to make him wait. I'm going to make you wait for this. We got three, so I'll throw one out now. You are insured, right? Just in case something bad happens here.
Let's see that arm, Cisco. Let's see that arm.
Rotator cuff injury. I don't care what you say, that was a spiral. Tonight we have three pro-jobs governors who are here to speak to you. This man has been making things better in the great state of Mississippi since the day he walked through the door. A loud Will County welcome to Governor Haley Barbour.
Boy, it's a great day to be in Illinois. It's a great day for all three of us to be in Illinois because this is where we're going to start taking our country back. I'm Haley Barbour. I'm the chairman of the Republican Governors Association. Bobby Jindal and Bob McDonald and I are very, very pleased to be here on behalf of Bill Brady. Y'all have got a spectacular candidate for governor who's going to do Illinois proud starting January. A handful of you may be old enough to remember that in 1994 I was the chairman of the Republican National Committee. That year, Republicans took back control of the House and the Senate for the first time in 40 years. And we went from 17 Republican governors to 31. Time magazine said it was the greatest midterm majority sweep of the 20th century. And I'll have to say, as a boy from Yancey City, Mississippi, that's pretty heady stuff. And I'm proud of it. But I want to make one point to you, and very clearly. The election of 2010 is a more important election than the election of 1994. We've never had an administration in our country like the Obama administration, which along with the Pelosi-Reed Congress has taken the biggest lurch to the left in American political history. A spending spree that give drunken sailors a bad name. Spending in the trillions. I was in the Reagan White House in the 1980s. Spending the trillions was unimaginable. Today we have a deficit of $1.3 trillion. In those days, the whole budget was about that big. 1.5 trillion 1 year under Obama, 1.3, 1.4 trillion next year. They expect to increase the federal debt by $10 trillion in 8 years. Who's going to pay that back? I'll tell you who's going to pay it back. Our children and grandchildren are going to pay it back if we let it happen. And we're here because we're not going to let it happen. And for for all the spending of the Obama administration and the incredible increase in the national debt, these deficits, the planned tax increases they have for January, where they have not voted to keep the Bush tax cuts in place, which means trillions of dollars of tax increases in the next 10 years. Taxes, spending, I mean, Obama must have learned this from Pat Quinn. He's the only governor I know running for re-election on a platform of raising the income tax by a third. Everybody in favor of raising the income tax by a third? Go have your head examined. That's why this year is such an important election. Because the stakes are so high in Illinois and all over America. And I promise you, we're not going to wait to 2012 to start taking our country back. We're going to start here and now in Homer Glen, Illinois. Before I introduce a great friend, I want to make one other point to you. I'm from Mississippi, as Cisco said, and Cisco, thanks for doing this. My fellow Mississippian Fred Smith, the founder and CEO of FedEx, has a saying that's one of my favorite sayings. Fred says, the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. We can't let anything get our eye off the ball between now and Tuesday. We can't have any distractions. We got to be totally and fully focused on electing Bill Brady and Mark Kirk and a whole list of other Republicans here in Illinois. And what does that mean? What does that mean? I want to remind you that despite all the technology and the television and the internet, still today in America, the most powerful weapon in politics is when you say to someone who respects you, I'm voting for Bill Brady. Here's why, and I wish you would too. Now that's more powerful than any TV spot. It's more powerful than any ad in a newspaper or any letter in the mailbox. When you say to somebody who respects you, I'm going to vote for Bill Brady. Here's why, and I wish you would too. That's what we need you doing for the next 6 days. Talking to your friends and your family. Don't take your family for granted. Talking to the people you work with, people you work for, the people who work for you, your vendors, your customers. Talking to the people your children go to school with, people you go to the ball game with. Talking to the people you go to church with. You know, in America, people who go to church on Sunday go to vote on Tuesday. And we need to make sure that you've talked to every one of those friends and you're still talking to them at this time on Tuesday night till the polls close. If you do that, we're going to have a great victory in Illinois, in America. That's going to start right here in Will County. And it's going to start with elected Bill Brady. I'm glad to play a little part in that. And to bring with me two great guys, one of whom I'm going to introduce, the outstanding governor of Louisiana, who, like other Republican governors, has cut spending, has cut taxes, has got his state back on the right track after a crisis of confidence in that state. A great leader, and just one more example of a Republican actually doing what Bill Brady talks about and will do. Ladies and gentlemen, Governor Bobby Jones.